problem analysis. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತಾನೂ ಕರಿತೀನಿ, ಅಥವಾ I will also call this as feasibility study. MLL in the sense machine level language, ALL in the sense assembly level language, HLL in the sense high level language. The only intention in this phase is to improve the accuracy level of the software and to check or to meet the exact requirement of the clients. Hello everybody, I welcome all of you to the second session on the introduction of computer concepts and C programming. So, my dear students, I'm Kaushik, lecturer in the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, first grade college. So fine, hope all of you have seen the previous video what I have done. So if not, please go back and check what is that I have done, so that is a continuation for this session also. So suppose if you have not watched, let me just give you a small recap before I get into the concept. So please have a notepad next to you, take notes of all the points whatever I'm going to discuss in this session. So what is that I will be discussing? Let's understand this. So please make a note of all these things. So I started my session by discussing what is software. What is that I have discussed? Software andre enu. So that is what I have started with. So fine, when it comes to software, I have discussed two things. Software has got classified into two different types. First one, system software. Second one, application software. Eshtu tara differentiate agate? Two types al agate. First one is system software and the second one is application software. Again, matte system software ali we have different categories. First one is what? Language translator. What is the first one? Language translator. So fine, language translator ali we discussed assembler andre eno, what is interpreter, what is compiler, all these things we have discussed in the language translator. What next? We also discussed something called linker and loader. We also discussed something called linker and loader. So fine. So what next? We also understood we have something called operating system. Operating system andre eno annadana we have discussed. Along with that, we also understood something called utilities. So this is what I will call it as a system software. This is what I will call it as a system software. This is one type of software. The next one that we have discussed is application software. Idralli ಎರಡು ತರ ಇದೆ, ಒಂದು general purpose software, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು application specific software. General purpose software ಮತ್ತೆ application specific software. So this is what we have discussed with respect to softwares. What else we discussed in the previous session? We also discussed something called languages. What is that? We also discussed something called languages. So when it comes to languages, please understand we have something called MLL. What is this MLL? Machine level language. So this is what you need to remember. So MLL, and also we have something called ALL, all. Okay. The last one that we have, HLL, high level language. So MLL in the sense machine level language, ALL in the sense assembly level language, HLL in the sense high level language. So guys, this too we call it as low level language. This is what we call it as a low level language. Alright. So the last one that we have is high level language. So we have discussed in detail about all these topics in my previous session. So fine. So what is that I have in today's session? So let's understand this. There is something called program. There is something called program development life cycle. There is something called program development life cycle. Yenidu program development life cycle. People also call this as SDLC, software development life cycle. ಒಂದು ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ನಾನು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಫೇಸಸ್ ನಾನು ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಫೇಸಸ್ ನಾನು ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸೈಕಲ್. So let's understand this one by one in detail in today's session. All right. So I have this program development life cycle. So let's understand this. I have different phases. So first of all, before I discuss, ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಸೊ ನಾವು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್. ಸೇ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ನ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಫಾಲೋ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ I have to be very systematic to avoid a lot of mistakes which I will be doing in the development of the software. Tumba mistakes agodakkinta, lot of errors madodakkinta, so accuracy na improve madodakoskara I will be following some systematic steps to complete the development of the software. So what is that? Should I follow one by one or randomly can I follow it? So you have to follow the step by step. You have to follow the steps in the order. So why we have to do that? So let us understand each step, what exactly it is doing and why should I do it in the order. What is the importance of it? What is that I will be doing in each and every step is what I am going to discuss with all of you in this session. So fine. So let's understand first how many different types of steps that we have in the software development lifecycle or program development lifecycle. So let's understand that. What is the first step that I have? First step, the first step is problem definition. So, answer the problem definition. For example, ಈಗ ನಾನೊಂದು ಕಂಪ್ನಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಸೊ ನಾನೊಂದು ಈಜಿಪ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ನಂದೊಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಇದೆ. ನನ್ನ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಬೇಕು. ನನಗೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. Imagine I'm from Egypt. Okay, so most of the people, those who are from the outside, so they are not well versed with English. You cannot expect them to speak the English language. Okay, they don't entertain the English like what we do, how we do, right? So guys, that is a problem. So first thing, the first problem that you will face in the software company, okay, the first problem that you will face is most of the clients will not have very good English. So fine, that is the first problem. I have to collect the requirement from him. The customer ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರಿಂದ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಆ ಫೇಸ್ ನಾನು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀನಿ? ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀನಿ. ಯಾರು ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಬೇಕು, ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಏನ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಫೇಸ್ ನ, ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕಾಲಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ಫೇಸ್. ಸೊ ಫೈನ್, ನಾನು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನಾನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾನು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಅಂತಾನು ಕರಿತೀನಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಕಾಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಫೀಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ. ಇದನ್ನ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀನಿ? ಫೀಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಅಂತಾನು ಕರಿತೀನಿ. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ? So when it comes to problem analysis, what you will do? So you will analyze the problem whether can I do it or not. Idanna madaboda? Is it possible to do it? Is it feasible to do it? So you will check. And what should be the input? What should be the desired output? So what is the requirement or the change that you can do? All this feasibility study, you will do it in this particular phase. ಸೊ ಫೈನ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಅಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸು, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಅನಾಲಿಸಿಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಅ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಆರ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಸೈಕಲ್ that you need to understand, that is design phase. We also call that as algorithm development phase. We also call that as design phase. What is this design phase? There is a beautiful statement that you need to understand, my dear students. I have not stolen a golden ring. ಏನ್ ಸರ್ ಹಿಂಗಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಸರ್? ಕಳ್ತನಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವಾಗಿಂದ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಪ್ಪ, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋಲನ್ ಅ ಗೋಲ್ಡನ್ ರಿಂಗ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? ವಾಟ್ ಡಿಡ್ ಯು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? ಸರ್ ನೀವು ಚಿನ್ನದ ಉಂಗುರ ಕದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಬಟ್ ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಟು ಸೇ ದಟ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟೋಲನ್ ಅ ಗೋಲ್ಡನ್ ರಿಂಗ್, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಟೋಲನ್ ಅ ಸಿಲ್ವರ್ ರಿಂಗ್. That is what I mean to say. If I am using English kind of statements, it will have a lot of ambiguity. Ambiguity ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ತುಂಬಾ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರೋದು ಆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ದಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮೈ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್, ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಅಪ್ ವಿತ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್. ನನ್ನ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟಿಗೆ. ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಸ್ಟಮರ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗದೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅವ್ರು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಹೇಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾನು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್. ಸೊ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಅಪ್ ವಿತ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಥೌಸಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಆರ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ eventually if I'm done with the product and if that is not matching with a requirement, then I will end up with a problem. Then how do I solve this problem? ಹೆಂಗೆ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಇದನ್ನ? ಅವ್ರೇನೋ ಹೇಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾನೇನೋ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನೋ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ. So how do I solve this problem? So to solve this problem, I have this phase. I will convert all the requirements into design, pictorial representation with the help of algorithms and flowcharts. And also I have a lot of UML diagrams which will help me to convert the requirements, whatever I have, so into pictorial representation. That is what you need to understand. That's what you need to understand. So once I am done with the conversion of the requirement into designs with the help of algorithms and flowcharts. Sir, algorithm andre enu, flowchart andre enu? Yes, I will be discussing that in detail in the coming session. So as of now, you just have to understand, I am representing all my requirements with the help of pictorials. So ನಾನು ಯಾವಾಗ ನಾನು ಪಿಕ್ಟೋರಿಯಲ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ನನ್ನ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ನಾನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಕನ್ವೇ ದ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್, ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ of what I want or what the user wants or what the customer wants. If there is any changes, if there is any wrong representation or wrong interpretation, so in that particular phase itself, we can rectify it with the clients. So that will happen in this phase. So fine, design aito, design madbittidira, so algorithm flowchart alli ide. So then next, what is the next phase? The next phase that you are moving into coding. What is this coding? Now design phase alli algorithms yen convert madirtivi requirement inda adu flowchart yen tagondirtivi, so all those things we will convert it into program coding. So I will select the suitable programming language based on the application what you are developing or based on the customer requirement. So you will select the programming language. So you will start converting all the flowcharts. Illi yen design ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತೀರಾ flowchart ಮತ್ತೆ algorithm, you will start converting based on that into the coding. So that is what you need to understand at this point of time. So fine, ನಾನೀಗೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸೈನ್ ರೆಡಿ ಇದೆ, ಡಿಸೈನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾನು ಕೋಡಿಂಗ್ನ ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. So once I'm done with the coding, what next? What is that I have to do? ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ರೆಡಿ ಇದೆ, ನಾನು ಕೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ರೆಡಿ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ ಸರಿ ಅಂತ I cannot say that. We human beings are very famous for making mistakes. Yes or no? Yes. But the beauty that you need to understand in the software field, so we have somebody for testing what we have done. Why? Because to improve the accuracy. In no other field that you can expect the accuracy level is what I would like to tell you. That is the beauty that you need to understand. We have the next phase for testing and debugging. Yen sir idu testing and debugging andre? ನಾನು ಏನೇನು ಕೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, okay, in this phase, whatever I have coded using this algorithm development or the design, whatever I have, so ನಾನು ಏನು ಕೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ, so is it matching the exact requirement of the client? Client ಏನು ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದೀವಾ ಅಂತ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So after that, they will try to find out if there is any mistakes, if there is any error, if possible, they will try to remove it or they will try to fix it. The only intention in this phase is to improve the accuracy level of the software and to check or to meet the exact requirement of the clients, what they have given. So fine. So a lot of iterations will happen to come to a conclusion that exactly the software output or the product what we have developed is exactly matching the client's requirement. So fine, ಆ ಫೇಸಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. So ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ then it's a very important phase that they will move to documentation phase and maintenance phase. This is going to be very, very vital phase in the software development life cycle. What exactly it means? What exactly it means? ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ನ ನಾನು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. I have developed the software. What is that I have done? I have developed the software and I have tested. So I cannot think that that is the end of my responsibility. I cannot think that that is the end of my responsibility. The customer should be happy buy your service only if you provide the maintenance. Along with that, documentation. So what is maintenance? What is documentation? Maintenance andre eno, documentation andre eno. Let's understand this clearly. You have developed that software in your place. So it is working fine now, but you don't know whether you will be able to successfully install or deploy or ship that particular software in the client premises. When you deploy that particular software in the client premises, you might come across with a lot of errors. So you cannot say that, "Naan maadbittidini sir, nimage torsidini, idu work aagta ittu, nanna javadari alla ivaga." You cannot say that. So you should take up the responsibility being the company. So you should be able to solve whatever the mistakes or whatever the errors that is coming in the client premises, and you should be able to support them to resolve all the issues. So that is what we call it as a maintenance. That is what we call it as a maintenance. So fine, you understood maintenance. Then what is documentation? A set of people, those who have developed. Let me come to a situation. Let me tell you a small story. Yenide documentation. When it comes to documentation, we have two types of documentation. One is internal documentation, another one is external documentation. When it comes to documentation, one is internal documentation. What is this? One is internal documentation, another one is external documentation. What exactly internal documentation and what exactly external documentation is all about? So please understand, when I have internal documentation, I'm a software engineer. Imagine I'm a software developer and call it. So I will be working on some module, some part of the software. Nange ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಮದುವೆ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೋಣ. ಅರ್ಧಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಒಂದು 4 to 5 months ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀನಿ, ನಾನು ಅರ್ಧಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಏನೋ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಂದೇ ಒಂದು ವೇರಿಯೇಬಲ್ಸ್ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾನೇ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಕೋಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ I will leave the job and go. So what should company do? Because somebody should continue the work, right? So how the other guy, the new guy, will understand what I have coded. Naan yen code madirtini anta avನಿಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ? So it will be very difficult for him to understand what I have coded. So he has to sit across with the code what I have written. So he has to spend a lot of time to understand so what I have done. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ನಾನೇ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಅವನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾನಪ್ಪ, ಸರಿ ಕಂಪ್ನಿದು ಹೇಳು. ಸೊ ಕಂಪ್ನಿ 4 months ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. So what is the cost that company has spent on you? So everything will go for a toss. Everything will go for a waste. Matte that 4 months I have to give you again. So matte project delay agate. How do I solve this problem? Job hopping is a major problem that we are facing in the IT industries. Then when I have this kind of critical problem, then how do I solve this problem? So for that reason, we maintain a concept called internal documentation. So he or she should maintain a document. So what is that they are doing with the program? So for each and everything, they have to document it. They have to comment it. So by going through the comment, we will be able to easily understand what is that they have coded. So fine, the internal documentation aito. So all of you will be, if you purchase a product, you will be getting a manuals, right? So our product na heng use ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು small book ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. So that's what we call it as a manuals. In that manual, the complete description about the product, how to operate it, how the product works, how the product behaves. So the complete description of that particular product will be given in detail. So that is what I will call it as the external documentation. We should also do an external documentation, so in which it should contain the complete behavior of that particular software. So that is very, very important when it comes to external documentation. This will be the last phase of your software development life cycle. This is what you need to understand in this session, my dear students. So hope you understood how we are developing the software step by step. So we are following these steps just to improve the accuracy, just to meet the exact requirement of the client, and just to improve the accuracy of what we are doing and to avoid the mistakes. So by saying this, so I have come to an end of this session. So in the next session, I will be discussing what is algorithms and what is flowcharts. So please keep waiting. If you have liked it, if you have understood this topic, don't forget to click on the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much.